How deep is your love? Here we are in Bonzolium Studios. Bonzolium Studios. All right, here's a final rundown of the John Bonham's 70th birthday party information that is being held at Metro tomorrow night. It used to be called Cabaret Metro back in the 80s. God, man, did you know right now, back in the 80s, is what back in the 50s was to the 80s? So, apparently doors open at 8 o'clock, but the show doesn't start till 9, okay? And at 9 o'clock, there is a band that's going to play called Afrozep. So there is an opening band, which I was just made aware of. And then at 10 o'clock, the whole shindig starts. George is doing Fool in the Rain. I am doing Immigrant Song. So we're each doing one song in that regard, and then George and I will both at one point do a little Moby Dick in a Moby Dick section. Moby Dick section. So, apparently it's like essentially a 10 o'clock to midnight full blast. Led Zeppelin 2, everybody, like me and George and Matt Walker and some of these folks just freaking out. So it's really 10 to 2, although you can get in at 8, okay? So from 8 to 9, if there's any Bonzolium and Bonzology fans, George and I will be, I'll be out there if anybody wants to chit-chat. So again, then at 9 o'clock, though, there's Afrozep. And then, anyway, so here we are. Again, I'm proud to show off my what is now a full Amber Vista Light kit. Remember, this bass drum here is a 2009 Ludwig reissue, as is this floor tom. This floor tom and this rack tom are RCI Vista Light. I couldn't really. I was sick and tired of waiting to find a 16-inch genuine, so I put together this shell with hardware I have, and then this one was given me by Wally Dellenbach. God love him. It's a 6-lug, so it's genuine to the original Bonham specs. So let me just bang on them for a little bit. What I have here is my Giant Beat 24-inch multi. That's a magical cymbal. Tis. At about 2950 grams. Over here is my newly acquired Zildjian S series. I'm telling you, man, I don't know I wish Zildjian would have consulted me. They should stay away from the letter S. Scimitar, baby. Why did you use S? Anyway, B12 alloy. This is a medium thin model, which came in at 1,959 grams. A little heavier than I thought it would be. My Zildjian S family thin model is only like 1760. This is a great crash. So you'll notice they're great. This one does have a little more of this, sort of in a weird way, a Vetus sort of bark. Like, a little of that going on. But then the shh is very Giant Beaty. So here we go. Moving the mic. Okay, drums will sound a little dinky. They are Vista-like, by the way. I haven't played today, so I'm a little starting cold, but what can you do? So, I mean, listen, check it out. Can you hear me here? We're gonna play the drums. They're really the best. You gotta be a drummer and a slip of my chest. We're gonna play some songs and kinda get over the top, whatever this song is. So that's it. So again, this is the announcement of the full lineup. I just got all the info of the Bonham's 70th birthday bash held at Metro, which is tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, Thursday, May 31st. which would have been Bonham's 70th birthday, okay? 8 o'clock, doors open at Metro, 3730 North Clark Street. 9 o'clock, the Afro Zep plays. 10 o'clock is when the shindig total proper with all the freak show stuff starts, okay? 10 to midnight. So if you can be there, that'd be fantastic. Okay? So we'll just end. I don't know. Yeah, hang on. I was going to play it. Hang on. I'll show you. Look what I got. Looky here. This is the Terry Keating Bonzolium model Blackrolite. Yes, sir. I think right now on eBay there is a 6.5 by 14 Blackrolite. God, I don't know about you folks, but here in the Midwest, man, my allergies are killing me. Oh, I think it's the oak tree pollen stuff. So check this out. Look, the Bonzolium Blackrolite. I'll outfit this baby up. I did drill it for a tone control, okay? Because the baby, these guys from the late 80s into the early mid 90s, maybe late 90s into the early aughts, the 6.5s did have tone controls. All the 5s did. All the Blackrolites you see that are 5 inches did have tone controls. But they removed the tone controls in the 6.5. Probably around the time they removed the tone controls from the 6.5 and 5 by 14 Supraphonic. So here it is. Isn't it nice? There's imperial lugs on it. It'll be totally tubular. Yes! So this is essentially the replacement for my blue Crolite, which now Dave Serini has in Dave Serini bag. The Dave Serenolator. Yes, sir. So, maybe we'll see some of you tomorrow night at the Metro. Okay? In Chicago. Illinois. And you know what? Remember, the Metro is only... Remember, the original Kinetic Playground was at 4812 North Clark. I was fortunate enough to go in there a few times before they ripped that baby down. I have more photographs of the inside of it, too, floating around. You know what happened? There was a period of time that I had a digital camera that was about this big, and a floppy disk actually went in it. So I have some of these floppies around. Like this, that has some good pictures. This one says Columbia College, April 8th, 2003. This is when I was with my band recording at Columbia College. They apparently had a SSL console in there. I think one of the Pritzkers had donated. God bless America. So I got to figure out a way to extract the information off those. I do have, remember, there's a video I have. If you type into YouTube right now, original Kinetic Playground, you'll see a video of it's stills I took from a video when they were tearing the joint down. But I have a lot of good pictures I took on the inside. Back in the day, I think they started to tear it down in late 03 or mid 04. I do have a couple bricks, too. I swiped a couple bricks from the Kinetic Playground. From the location on the wall, which was only about maybe 75 feet from where the stage was. And there's another thing, too. You'll find on the internet, there's a I remember reading years ago, like in books before the internet, where there was a story where Peter Grant was talking about how before one of the Kinetic Playground gigs, it wasn't the February one, it was the May one, I think. Because they went on numerous tours in 69 and even 70, and so, they had various tours here and there, but they did 4 American tours in 69. Well, the late 68 into 69, 69, 69, 69, which I think was December, January-ish 69, May-ish 69, maybe July-ish 69, and then September, October 69. And they played at Kinetic Playground each one of those 4 tours. Anyway, So I remember Peter Grant talking about how before one of the kinetic playgrounds, he said on the first couple tours, of which I've determined it was the second tour, they were talking about how they went outside of the kinetic playground, they looked, and the line went around the block, down Clark Street around to Lawrence. So when I was in the kinetic playground, let me say it again, when I was in several times in the kinetic playground before they ripped it down, when it was all abandoned and haggard in there, remember the roller rink was in the back, was west. Okay, it was a big-ass room there. The original kinetic playground was a smaller room that actually was right adjacent to Clark Street. If you punched a hole through the wall of Clark Street, you'd have been in the kinetic playground looking at this, where the stage was. So I remember reading this article, blah, 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 where they were talking about, yeah, they were a kinetic playground. And at one point when I was in the kinetic playground, and I was looking at an old, like a hallway down some stairs that had almost like a bank foyer that had kind of like marble and stuff, and the floor was tile right before where the front door was with like a big ornate grate. I remember thinking to myself, like, God, this is probably actually where Peter Grant and the guys were standing when they were checking the crowd out. Sure enough, a couple of years ago on the internet, I think on the Led Zeppelin page, there's a photograph of Jimmy Page and Robert Plant and John Paul Jones is holding a Led Zeppelin balloon. And they're in the same foyer that I was looking at. And the photograph is taken from exactly where I was standing. I don't know about to you, but just like my freakazoid stuff about like the depth of the thermoglass place from blah, 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 that was exceptionally significant to me. So there I was in my freak out back in 2003, like looking like, God, what if this is exactly, well, it was exactly where. Not only that, the photographer was standing exactly where I was standing. Wow. I really think that's nifty. In fact, I did license a person, they're going to make a book on the kinetic playground, and he's going to use a couple of my photographs, because I do have, I'll try to get them all together. Maybe I'll have the Bonzolium book of kinetic playground. Did you know the kinetic, you got to look up the kinetic playground. If you go to Wikipedia, look up kinetic playground / Rainbow Room, RAINBO. This place was a very famous place in Chicago back in the day. In fact, it is said that that is where Moe Howard and Shemp Howard, remember in Three Stooges land, we always associate Shemp as like the third Stooge because of the order of the shorts they made for Columbia. But Shemp was the original with Moe and Larry. He left, they got Curly. Curly had a stroke, they brought Shemp back, Shemp died, they got, who'd they get first? Curly Joe Dorita, I think Dorita or whatever, it was last, but they got another Joe they really didn't like. Anyway, but apparently they hooked up at what became the kinetic playground. The old days. Imagine seeing Zeppelin or Hendrix or anybody sitting frickin' Indian style in front of the stage like, hey, you know what I mean? God. All right, more videos on the way. Tomorrow night at the Metro. Oh, I'm going to play Immigrant Song. I don't think it'll be that fast. You ever heard that Immigrant Song when they're running through it at Headley or wherever? It's like, and Plant puts the ah-yah-yahs in a weird place. He doesn't go, he's not that. It's like, it's bizarro. Maybe we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for watching. More videos on the way. Again, I'm going to do more cover-like stuff, but my board is malfunctioning. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate the subscribers. Don't forget, really, I have like loyal subscribers. I genuinely heartfelt appreciate you, one and all. If you want a Terry Keating CD or a Bonzolium t-shirt, shoot me an email at bonzolium@gmail.com. Shoot me an email first. Say, hi, Terry, I'm interested in a shirt. And we'll straighten out whether you want a white one or a black one, what size you want, where you're at, and the whole schmeal. Okay? Thank you.